Hi, it's Dr. Dave here again, and we're going to look at a practical tool in this explainer to help you develop marketing plans and also for assignments. If you're working with a new case study or in a new sector, this can be a really effective technique, and it's actually based on the process that I've gone through as a digital marketing consultant when I'm working with a new business. And in the past, that's been everything from a retailer through to a bank through to a travel company or business to business as well. And what I'm trying to do is to build a picture in my head of the audience, the customer, and how they interact with the business, because there's so many different touch points, and I'm trying to build that structure so that I can identify some of the weaknesses in the current communications and the opportunities for improving communications. So let's take a look at the layout. This is from chapter 2 in the book, where we're focused on situation analysis, and we'll take the example of a laser eye treatment company. So quite a high involvement purchase, quite expensive as well. So quite an involved buying process, which is why I choose that example. So if we think of, as we work from left to right here, what a laser eye treatment brand would want to do is to develop personas which cover a range of behaviours and profiles. So that the characteristics of the audience, and then to think about within the website and the digital communications how we can appeal to those different audiences. So if you take a look at laser eye treatment sites, you'll see they often, for example, they'll use a demographic segmentation. They may have some younger audience who have different needs in terms of the service from older audiences. That would be a simple breakdown. There may be some more psychographic segmentations where you might have someone who's more risk averse, someone who's more cost sensitive, and you'd have different messaging to appeal to those audiences. Then once we've thought through our customer segments, and we can summarize those there, we would think about what journey that audience would take online to look at the providers when they're developing their consideration set, or the list of providers. And of course, in many countries, people turn straight to Google. They'll do a generic search, laser eye treatment, laser eye surgery, and then they'll see a list of alternatives within the Google search results pages, and those are where we need to gain visibility within our organic and paid search. So what you can do is, as you're thinking through that process, you can use tools like the Google Keyword Planner to say what are those typical search terms. So you might have the generic terms I've mentioned, such as laser eye surgery, laser eye treatment, and then through doing the analysis you can see where people use qualifiers. So they might search for cheap, or they might look for particular locations, Birmingham, London, Leeds, for instance. And then there may be more specific long tail phrases which you also want to be visible for. So one of the technologies I think is LASIK, which you might see cropping up in some of the searches. But of course there are other journeys that people may take. They may go to some sort of specialist search engine or directory, not perhaps as commonly used now as in the earlier days of the internet, and I think many people will turn straight to Google. But it depends on sector. If you think of something like financial services or travel, there's intermediaries such as money saving expert, travel supermarket, where that people may know of those through their advertising. Compare the market would be another, and then people will go straight to those either via Google or direct. So we would call those intermediaries aggregators, because very often people will still Google them. They'll just do a brand search on money supermarket. Of course, the other thing, the other factor shaping what someone's searching for is the existing brand awareness. Now, some people may go for that search for that generic term, but others, because of advertising they've seen on TV or in print or elsewhere, they'll already have brand awareness. So they may do a search for a particular laser eye brand, such as Optimax or Vision Care, depending where they're based. So once we've got our list, and it can be a long qualified grouped list of keywords of all those behaviors, what we can then start to do is we can use tools such as Moz or SEMrush, which are search marketing tools, to think which websites have the visibility within the search results. Now, it may be that if a company's done a good job of their search engine optimization, someone will follow this route A, and they'll go directly through to the company website if they're on the first page, for example. But what may also happen is that you'll see other publishers or the aggregators I talked about there, these intermediary sites, or even in laser eye treatment, you often find relatively small businesses who someone set up a blog about this topic, and they're effectively an affiliate of the companies over here, driving traffic to different alternatives. So what you can see we're doing here is that Google effectively mediates the buying process here, and we're trying to understand the influence of the different intermediaries, and we can do that through analysing their position in the search results. We can also look at their popularity. In chapter 2 of the book, we've got a table which looks at tools that allow you to see the relative size of intermediaries. So for example, SimilarWeb is one tool you can use as part of assignments. So the final part of the story is when someone reaches either the company that we're studying, our own company, or a direct competitor, and we'd want to start to do some competitor benchmarking there, understanding the different online value propositions. So in terms of how they explain the service, how they differentiate the brand, where they operate, the marketing mix factors such as price, place, promotion, and then we would summarize those as well. It's just worth noting that particularly online, that you may have some indirect competitors which you might not think of as traditional competitors, but maybe companies that have very good awareness or good search marketing capability. So that's the marketplace map. You can lay that out with specific names for all of these in terms of order, so just have the top 3 in each box here, and then that will give a summary that you can discuss and agree with the company that you're working with that it's realistic. But it gives you a much more data-driven approach of completing that situation analysis.